Go de banyi dunyani feni na ina chose amo. Oga dirigema. Ike jeje na bata bata. If obuni ne me yaburu na kaki dojo. Bini we ka go see the work. Oseburu wa wepulani work. Oseme na ga pour for my son.
Crystal on this. We are one or two the line in the air. Magic City, radio number one in the air. Magic City, so we are one or two the line in the air. Magic City, radio number one in the air. Magic City, now here we go. Turn on your radio. That says so. A broski on this one, man. With your money, Cristalio.
Hello, my name is Crystal, and you're listening to Magic 102.9 Apa Ogwan.
12 o'clock.
We're the station that beats all the competition. And we'll prove it as soon as we hear any competition. 102.9.
The personalities, the issues,
The fresh subsidy is gone.
the news makers.
A few of my constituents come and say, so when you get 500 million, would they beg you for money? No one give us 1 naira out of it. Can you imagine?
The people, politics, health, economy.
We are dealing with an economy where we printed so much money. It may be nearing 30 trillion naira.
Religion, entertainment. Get all these and more every Saturday on Weekend Dialogue. Weekend Dialogue. Weekend Dialogue, a thought-provoking and engaging 1-hour live interaction from the streets to the corporate world, from the markets to the corridors of power. Join Magic 102.9 FmAba from 12 noon to 1 p.m. every Saturday for insightful analysis, perspectives, and answers to the hard questions. Weekend Dialogue. Let's get the conversation going.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for sharing your time with us. My name is Anastasia Odochi Uchenna. It is Weekend Dialogue. That time we'll look at trending issues in the polity from different sectors of the economy, politics, agriculture, anything that interests the people. Today's edition, we'll be looking at something really that has to do with the stomach infrastructure, as politicians will call it. The theme song on the lips of Nigerians as we speak is that the price of food stuff is going up. You go to the market today, visit next week for the same product, and the price will not be the same. Why is this so? What are the challenges? How can we fix this? So, on today's edition of Weekend Dialogue, Dr. Eugene Woha is already here in the studio, and we'll look at food insecurity in the country, matters arising. Please join us. Thank you so much, sir, for coming.
Thank you very much, and as we welcome our listeners and our viewers on the live feed.
That's correct.
Thank you very much.
Okay, you can go to our Facebook page. It is MagicFmAba. Like us, drop your comment. We'll take them when it's time for feedback. And of course, you can also watch us live via our Facebook platform. Thank you again for sharing your time with us. And let me start on a lighter note. Doc, this morning, what did you eat? Let's start from there.
For me, I eat rice mostly.
So this morning, what did
For this morning, it was rice too.
So did you eat rice because it was available, or you ate rice because that's what you wanted to eat?
just because it was available. Because before the high cost of rice, I had some reserve. No. So I'm still managing on that.
I can imagine. Okay, let's hit the ball running now. Let's look at why we have food insecurity in the country, because people are just wondering, why is the price of food just going up? Why can we not have access easily? What changed? I think that should be the question, Doc. What changed?
I think, and that's my sister, the cost of food presently has become an embarrassment to everyone, both the even the rich and the poor. You remember a few days ago, it was this cost of food issue that cost the senator his position of the chief whip of the Senate, because he started to do some analysis and say rice is now about 100,000 a bag, a basket of tomato 100,000, onions and so on and so forth. So I think the scarcity of food should worry everybody, and we have a lot of reasons why this is happening, part of which we can enumerate. We have things like the climate change people are talking about. We have things about government policies, conflicts like the farmers' herders clashes, and the type of farming we are doing, the peasant farming, the hoe and knife type of farming, and the lack of inputs like fertilizers and improved seedlings. So we have so many reasons.
We have so many reasons.
And the value of our currency too. Because if you talk of 50,000 as of today, you can't compare it even with 20,000 or 25,000 pre-2023 elections.
Let's look at what seemed to be the talking point, the farmer herders clash. It's been an issue for a while. I asked the question during analysis last week. I told my colleague, I said, right from the days we were growing up, there have always been herders going around doing their business, and it has never affected our food. So why do we now have a different situation? So let's look at the farmer herders clashes. Do you think that is really an issue in talking about
yes, because we have had stories, and not just stories, that are true, where farmers are prevented from going to their farms, from harvesting, from planting. We have also seen where some farmers lose their life to these herders. So, like what you said about herders all along, I think something happened along the line. Some elements, criminal elements, infiltrated the herders population, or they are just criminals marauding themselves as herders. So I should think that that is the first point of call government should address, the issue of the security of the farmer, so that the farmer can have free access, since the type of farming we are doing is not it's mainly peasant farming, where you don't have commercially large farms owned by big companies and so on. So government must look at the people that call themselves herders, and like people have been suggesting of late, we must go into ranching. This issue of allowing cattle to move around without restriction is no longer practiced anywhere in the world. Last night I was looking at Pakistan. They have a lot of cattle, but these cattle are settled in ranches, and when they are in ranches, you can monitor the activities of the cow, you can monitor the activities of the herder, you can also monitor the activities of criminals who try to use the herders as a cover for criminal activities. So the point I'm making is that there is no way we can run away from ranching, and from all discussions nationally and internationally, the situation is that this issue of allowing cattle to be moving up, even the herders themselves, they are not the true owners of this cattle. There are some big men who own the cattle, who live in cities in Kaduna, Abuja, and Kano and so on, and send somebody to be in the bush with cattle, or trek from Sokoto to Bayelsa with on foot So I think it's also part of human rights abuse to engage young people who should be in school, who should be in boarding house, to be trekking along with cattle. And government should look at it from that angle to stop people, rich people who own cattle, from using other. This equation of is their culture. Culture is dynamic. Culture is also changing. And the growing population of Nigeria now cannot allow you to move cattle all the way from Sokoto down to Bayelsa and walking across a lot of farmlands and destroying the farms.
So let's look at government policies. Do you think that government has, really shown the way? Have they given us direction?
No, there have been a lot of policies on assault. When you talk of government policies, before we had well-organized government programs like Operation Feed the Nation, Green Revolution, but for some time we have not had this kind of good arrangement where government can come out and say, this is our position. Even in Abia State here, if we take Abia State for example, there was a time during the time of Dr. Michael Okpara as the Premier of Eastern Nigeria, where we have farm settlements. We have example of Olona farm settlement. We have palm plantation, the Ada palm, and so many farm policies from government. But for now, it appears the farmers are on their own. They struggle to get fertilizers. They struggle to get the land, and they struggle to get other inputs. But recently, we are hearing of the creation of Ministry of Livestock. And many people say they are against that. I said, no, let us give this Tinubu administration this time. Let us see what is coming up with livestock. Because I know that the livestock is not cattle alone. Yeah. The other animals. Definitely. That I have goat, you have sheep, rabbits, even poultry is part of livestock. So let us see if that ministry can provide effective leadership. Since this leadership didn't come from the Ministry of Agriculture, where it is supposed to domicile. I thought the Ministry of Livestock shouldn't have been a minister of its own. But if by being a ministry, it can help us to solve this problem of food insecurity, then we can go by it.
You just talked about giving the Tinubu administration a chance.
Yes.
Let's look at our state governors, because it seems as though attention is from the federal. Everybody's waiting for feeding bottle from Abuja. The governors seem not to be looking inward. And our local farmers also need direction from our governors. Tinubu cannot leave Aso Rock and come down here. So let's also come home, Doc.
Yes, I think you have a point, Anas. If we look at Abia State now, we cannot say for sure the policy direction of our own government in Abia State with regards to food production and food insecurity. Just a few days ago, the Commissioner of Agriculture resigned. So I should think there's problem in that ministry. I wouldn't know the reason for her resignation, but I'm thinking that government should come home and look at even what is on ground already and see what could be done. Because we have the Ogwe modern chicken lying there waste. We have the Olona farm settlement. We have many other agricultural institutions all over the place, and we need to look at our education system. Part of a functional education is a education that has the agric department in place. So part of the vocation that should be taught the children from their primary, secondary school has to do with food security, has to do with food production. So for me, government is not doing enough as far as Abia State is concerned. They should look at our water management, because the recent thinking is that agriculture and farming cannot depend on natural rain alone. There should be effort even during this rainy season to conserve water which can be used during dry season, because for you to produce enough food in Nigeria today, even in Abia State, we must do farming in the rainy season. We must also do farming in the dry season. Yeah. So combine these two, you can get enough food for the people. So government should look at water resources, water management, not just fishing. how do we manage the water we have? How do we reserve water? Even if we cannot build big dams, we can also build smaller ones where we can collect this water when water is available during rainy season, or we collect from rivers, store it, then I use it. There are many areas in Isukwuato, many areas in Ongwaland, and many areas in Umuahia Aziz where farming can be done. And you people in one of your programs listed them. We can do rice production in Abia State. We can do cassava production to a very large quantity. We can also do the production of palm oil and groundnuts plus melon, because if you look at some of the crops which we used to produce in this Abia State and in the southeast, we are losing all of them. We have lost pepper, we have lost onions, we have lost even the palm oil as fast drying up now. That is why the 25 jerry can is getting to 30,000 in the southeast. That is a major producer of palm oil. So I want government to look at how to deal with water so that during the dry season these farmers can be at work, and government itself should come in to assist them in terms of inputs, especially fertilizer. Just this farming season, fertilizer sold as much as 40,000, 45,000.
Just a bag?
Yes, a bag.
Wow.
So with that kind of fertilizer, what are you going to do with it? What are you going
How
to produce?
many people can afford?
So people are just farming some with animal dungs, and these things don't. We have already given our soil impression that fertilizer is coming. So without fertilizer, you virtually produce a low yield, very nothing. So government should look at this fertilizer issue either by subsidizing it or by ordering it directly from the fertilizer plant so that it can be cheaper for farmers. And government should also see if they can organize farmers into cooperatives so that it will be easier to know the real farmers. They don't give out some of these inputs to people who are businessmen who will just go and resell it in the open market. And government should also look at loans, how to provide loans for farmers to assist them. And these loans should be at a very low interest rate, because it is an attempt to see if we can deal with food insecurity.
Let's look at perception. You know, while you were talking, you kept saying farmers, farmers, farmers. It sounded as if there are just a group of people somewhere in a village somewhere who are farmers who should be doing this thing. I'm trying to look at how we will, remove that nomenclature of farmers from people thinking it's just a set of people who should be involved in agriculture. What do you think?
If you ask me, we should have farmers and non-farmers. It's a mistake thinking that everybody can just be a farmer. It's a mistake thinking that what people say is if you are a medical doctor, if you are a lawyer, if you are that, you must farm. That is a type of primitive idea about farming. There should be real farmers who are, even in advanced countries, United States, and there are those who are classified as farmers. They have the knowledge, they have the inputs, they have the experience to do that farming. But here we think that every old woman in the village must be a farmer. And even if we talk of just producing the little you can eat, but when you talk of production for national usage, production for the growing population, production for cities, because if you go to the dictionary, a city is a large population of people who does not produce their own food. That is what metropolis is defined there. So there should be people producing on large scale to feed people in Aba, to feed people in Umuahia, to feed people in Lagos, and so on and so forth. So we won't go to Aba and say the people of Aba must be farmers. It doesn't work that way. So, however, the situation we find ourselves now is that there's just peasant farmers all over the place. And that's why part of the cause of the food insecurity. Now, when these peasant farmers can no longer produce due to insecurity, due to drought, climatic change, and so on, then the nation is in trouble. But if we had big time farmers, which is the place everybody is going now all over the world, we must have big time. That is why we said in terms of animal husbandry, we must also go for ranching. When we are going for ranching, we also go for big time farmers who produce grains, big time farmers who produce tubers, because you can now concentrate the technology for cassava production in the hands of those big time farmers. You can concentrate the availability of fertilizers in the hands of those big time farmers. So the point I'm making now is that we should start to think of revolutionizing agriculture. The population is growing. At independence, we were only 45 million people in the whole of Nigeria. But today we are talking of 220 million, 230 million. And in a short while, we may get to 250 million. Therefore, we need to think out of the box. We need to get people who are farmers, who studied farming, who have the experience, and empower such people to produce on a large scale. Because there is this thing about production. If you produce on a large scale, you can bring down the cost of production. But where everybody thinks he can farm, every person in the village, every teacher, every worker thinks he can farm, then we're not getting it. And that is the result of what we're experiencing today.
You just talked about production in large scale.
Yes.
But some of the farmers have also complained about the issue of transportation and extortion. When you do large-scale production in your village, you need to bring it out to the target audience, where people, the real consumers now, or people who will buy from you and resell whichever way they want. But these farmers have complained that apart from bad roads, they have issue of extortion. At every junction, you have to pay something. So by the time the product gets to the market, the seller will have to add everything he has spent on the road to the price. So there is no way you will get it at a cheaper, price. So let's look at that.
Yes, yes, you have a point, Anas. You are talking of maybe the police, the army, and all sorts of security agencies and road boys. It's true, we cannot hide that. They tend to collect money from people. It's not only on agricultural products, all manner of trade. You pay all sorts of levies. This is where government must come in. This is where the governor or the president or whoever in charge, we have chief security officer of the state. So you look at these police checkpoints, we have so many of them, and they are imparting on the cost of food production, produced foods. So apart from getting the roads into the rural areas, because this is another area which government, the concentration of government in most cases is the urban roads. But the rural roads needs attention too. Even if it is not getting them up to the level of third road, the local government, thank God now the local government is trying to come back on stream. The local government should grade some of these roads in the hinterland so that people can bring them out to a point where those from the town can also come there and buy them. It doesn't mean that the farmer must be the person who will bring the food from the local area to the town. There should be points, food markets, which need to be established where people can come and buy plantain, come and buy bananas, cassava, gari and whatever. And such markets are specialized markets to be designated for food items. So I should think the government should also start thinking in that way so that the food prices is not worsened. The cost of the food insecurity is not worsened by extortion on the road. It's not worsened by the activities of security agencies who, instead of protecting the farmers, extort from them. That is government work. It's an area government should look at and ensure that the farmers are not disturbed in any way by overtaxation, by disturbing the movement of the food already produced, or by any other kind of encumbrances that may make the farmers to shy away from production.
Last year, there was an attack on a vehicle, a truck, carrying tomatoes in Enugu State. And there was a protest by tomato sellers from the north who said they were not going to bring tomatoes to the southeast because of the attack that happened in Enugu. We have had discussions on our political platform about the need for the people of the southeast to also join in the production of some of these things that we have to wait until they come from northern Nigeria. Do you think that Ohaneze Ndigbo or social cultural organizations, political leaders in the southeast, it is time to come together to see how they can have a synergy, how to sensitize our people on the need to be self-reliant? Are you concerned?
Yes, we have spoken about that at length in some of the seminars and conferences we have organized on this issue of food security. Yes, we need to see how we can produce, at least to assist. But I know for sure that the southeast cannot meet up their food requirements. That is the basic truth. One, we don't have large expanse of land. In fact, let me tell you, Borno State is 13 times the size of Abia State. That's from Okwa. Landmass from Okwa to Arochukwu. That's what you call Abia State. Borno State alone is 13 times the size of Abia State. So there are some states in the north that have enough landmass. Kaduna State alone is bigger than Southeast. Niger State is bigger than Southeast. So those areas, there's no way we can, and our residential pattern in the Southeast is such that people will go into the bush and build their homes. So there's no area you can designate proper for farming, large area in the true sense of it. That was why when they were talking, when we went to the Ministry of Agriculture, they were saying that you can't bring in a tractor or a bulldozer or a harvester that is about 17-20 million and put it in the southeast. That eventually you'll be running at a loss because you don't have a land that will take 2 tractors that is costing 22 million each, 44 million. What are you going to yield? What are you going to harvest? What type of crop can you put in the southeast now that can pay for a 20 million tractor? It's not possible. So the much we can do is to see areas where we have comparative advantage. And such areas may include cassava production, may include palm oil production. So states in the southeast, Abia State inclusive, can now go bring in some experts. Let us look at those crops that we have the advantage in their production, that we have the land mass, we have the space. Even this ranching I'm talking about, you cannot do ranching in southeast. Look at the states that have land and who are the true owners of the cattle. Then establish the ranches there. If federal government can assist in establishing ranches, it's not bad. After all, federal government assist in providing subsidy for fertilizer. So the person doing animal production, if he gets any type of subsidy, our people should not be worried, because it's also part of the food chain that you can't take cassava alone, you can't take yams alone. I was told by an expert that we can't grow yams any longer here because of the heavy rains that have come. Yams doesn't need so much rainfall, and if you plant it during the rain, the harvest will be so small, the yield will be insufficient. So the point I'm making is that let us look for those crops that is suitable for our climate. Our selling point. Yes, let us look at them and see if we can concentrate attention, have a larger space. Like somebody showed a video where he produced tomatoes. In Bende. And people challenge the video to say, show us the farm too, not just the basket of tomatoes. And we are trying to get at that man to see if actually he had a farm. He should have shown the farm alongside the harvest to make it more convincing. So if we have such areas, tractors can be deployed. Like I pointed out earlier, today's agriculture is no longer the hoe and knife thing we used to do when we had a smaller population. The population requires massive food production. You must bring in the tractors, you must have the land, you must have improved varieties. There are varieties that mature in 3 months. You can still replant again. There's a variety of rice that matures in 3-4 months. So on a piece of land, you can plant 3 times on that piece of land in a year. That is why I talked of water conservation. You must have the water so that even during the dry season, you can still be in farming.
Back in the days, we used to brag about Abakaliki rice. I don't know what happened.
Even in the Bonn State, during the time of David Omahe, they were showing us a Bonny rice. Maybe due to climate change, maybe due to the fact that the output wasn't paying for the input. But that is very discouraging. You can put in 10 million into a particular crop production, and at the end of the day,
your money back.
You realize 5 million. The other year, you are not going back there. So maybe these are some of the factors, and the farmers headers class, because some of the headers take their animals into the farms and they destroy a large area of crops. And if that happens, the farmer is at loss already for that year. That is why I still emphasize ranching anywhere I go. I tell them that this ranching of a thing is just inevitable. Don't call it ruga or anything. Let the states that can provide land for these ranches do that. It doesn't have to be in the southeast.
Okay.
Yes, it doesn't have to be in Lagos. It doesn't have to be in Bayelsa. You can look at states that have the land. Let the governors, because according to the Land Use Act 1978 as amended, the ownership of the land is the governor that can give the certificate of occupancy for land. Let the governors look at the places where they have enough land, put the ranches there, produce enough animals, and you know that they are byproducts of even this cattle milk. The bones are useful, and all of that, the skin, the leather for production of shoes. You know that leather has no food, it has no food content. The skin of the animal.
We call it pomo.
That pomo has it has no dietary addition to our meat. But as poverty is growing, many people are falling back to it. So that kanda or whatever you call it can be used in the production of leather. We say Aba produces shoes, and I keep challenging people. What part of the shoe does Aba produce? Is it the leather? Is it the gum?
We buy everything.
Is it the sole? Is it?
So we just practically do the molding.
Well,
buy the
okay. I think people should, the press should reframe this Aba made shoes. It should be Aba molded shoes. Yes, that should be what it is. You can't produce thread. You can't produce the machine used in sewing it. You can't produce the gum. You can't produce the leather. You are importing leather from Morocco. You are importing leather from Algeria. So when you say Aba makes shoes, I just laugh and say maybe Aba couples shoes. And that's not you think so.
Our brothers do not want to hear that one from
No, it's a fact. It's a fact. We need to
I understand your point.
Yeah.
You're trying to say that the fact that they bought almost all the materials,
all of them,
they should not brag about being the manufacturers.
Yes.
I get you. Yeah. But well, it's a matter of nomenclature. Okay, earlier on, sir, you did talk about that farming has improved. We are no longer in the days of machetes, which I agree with you. But how do the real farmers now get knowledge about seedlings, improved farming techniques? How will this information get to them?
Two areas: enlightenment and education. So our schools need to go back to what the practical agriculture they used to teach them, the 80s, 90s, and so on, because you need to catch them young. Secondly, there should be massive enlightenment about improved varieties of crops. There's somebody, one Dr. Wabos, who is doing something now in that area. He has improved varieties. So
is it the lecturer in ABSU?
Yeah, no, he's a Calabar, is a Calabar lecturer. But he's doing something now in terms of providing improved. There's a type of cassava he calls the 419 cassava or something. That cassava yields massively. So attention should be taken to such people so that they can now produce improved varieties of these seedlings. We have the crop research institute at Umudike too.
True.
The Umudike people should come on board now, because this, like Aline Dume pointed out, this food insecurity is, if it continues like this, no matter what you do to Ndume, the protest and this thing is by the corner.
Wow.
Because the United Nations has said that the 3 basic human needs are food, shelter, and clothing. And in that list, food comes first. So a hungry man is an angry man. So there's government should take the advice of Aline Dume. You can forget the man and look at the message.
Take the message.
Yes.
And leave the message.
Yes, the message may not be the issue. Let them look at that thing he brought. Don't say it's from the opposition. When people
He's
say
even
things,
a member of APC.
When people say things, instead of you to address the issue, say no, forget it, it's from the opposition. This thing is staring us in the face. Even the one we call common Gary.
That is no longer common.
Yes, it's no longer common. Paint also, you talk of 4,000,
my God,
3,000 something. And the people are going hungry every day. The 101 10 or 10, there are some now 000, like Body used to say on your program, a political program. So government need to attack this thing. The rains are here. Conserve water in any way and use that water for dry season farming, because we are going to have a long period of dry, yes, coming up towards December, January, February, March, down that line. So between now and 2005, something should be done.
On a lighter note, Doc, the way you are calling price of Gary, it be like saying now you they go market. Because
I don't need to go to the market.
Because my husband does not know the price of Gary.
Your husband should be a very, very big man. If he doesn't know
he just feels that it's kitchen matters.
No kitchen matter this time, because if the man is providing the money, he's looking at the list he gave to the wife, and he's also querying.
No, he doesn't look at list. How can he look at list? Is he a joker?
No, it's good that we're laughing about it, but hunger is real. Hunger doesn't know ethnic group. It doesn't know the church you attend. It doesn't know. It doesn't know where you come from.
Yeah.
You are hungry is that you are hungry,
right.
and the food thing is it should be the #1 priority for government.
Let's look at some contributions on Facebook. Uche Vin Awoke says happy weekend. And us, my fellow Chelsea fan, thank you. I'm wearing my Chelsea jersey. Erugo Chigozie, he said we are our problem. We create artificial scarcity on prices of food. Another problem is the removal of fuel subsidy, whereby the then beneficiaries of the then fuel subsidy are sabotaging the administration of President Bola Tinubu because they are no longer benefiting from our corporate resources. Doc, do you believe that?
I don't clearly believe it's just sabotage. I don't clearly believe. Even there's something I want to point out. You see this in the core palliative from government. If these palliatives were coming from government reserved or the silos or whatever, or from government farms, do you know that the people giving money to buy these palliatives go to the open market, buy up whatever is there, and then go and share it to the people, then causing more scarcity too. So if government wants to give palliative, they should open government farms from where those items and products could be produced and then given to people free. Anytime there's a round of palliative, the price of rice will increase, the price of Gary will increase, because the available was produced have been bought up with government money and then shared out. So after that again, you see the people will return to see if they can match supply with demand then again. And in simple economics, the moment supply is low, prices go up because demand will be higher than the prices supply. So it's not a question of sabotaging government alone. But if you talk of removal of fuel subsidy, yes, I will agree to an extent that the cost of transportation has increased. In some places, it has tripled. That is the area you can look at, because the subsidy was helping them to move food around at a cheaper cost. The cost of hiring one trailer, 40-feet trailer now, to bring rice here has skyrocketed. Maybe it was 200,000, but it's now above 1 million. That also affects the price of the food. So it's not just direct sabotage of government or whoever is in government. This thing started even the time Buhari was there.
Jonada Bubanocha, we used to hear of Abia rice during the immediate past administration. What's the state of the rice today? Well, you know.
Did we have actually Abia rice? Or we bought and repackaged? I wouldn't know, because I'm not directly managing that sector. But I thought that's the thing I'm telling you now. Government can go to the open market, buy up the rice there, repackage it in their bag, and start selling as Abia rice or something like that. That one alone goes on to increase the food shortage again, because people take this things away free of charge, and when they finish that one, they return to the same market where there is no rice again. I don't agree so much with this palliative of a thing they are giving.
It's just like
let us address the fundamental problem issue of food production.
Also, Francis Namani is watching from Enugu State, Amagunze precisely. He says, keep up the good work. Happy weekend. Okay, thank you. Ikpasu Chinedu Bright, Sir Eugene, I salute you, sir. The problem we have in Nigeria is truth. Headers seem to have been equipped for the things we face today. I remember when someone said that they carry sophisticated guns to protect their cows, unlike sticks that they usually carry for years.
I wouldn't say that headers should not protect their cows. Remember, my point is that we shouldn't have headers in the form we have them now. Yeah. Why don't you put them in a ranch instead of moving them about? I feel for them. I feel for a human being. You sleep with the cattle in the bush, you face animals, snakes, then you trek all the way throughout your life. That is what you are doing. And somebody is telling me leave them is their culture. After doing this for a long time, some of them turn to be bandits. After suffering, you know that too much suffering can lead you to become a criminal. Whether you believe, I don't know people's theory of crime, but whether you believe it or not, some of these long-suffering boys who didn't go to school, who have no cattle of their own, after trekking for so long in the sun and in the rain for the big man in Kaduna, some of them turn back to the big man to collect the money. So I think we should discourage headers movement completely. Let us get these people settled somewhere where there are no primitive men who are moving from place to place. The days of the caveman should be over. With the type of wealth we have now, with the type of technology, what are we doing with our oil money? Is it siphoning it and taking it abroad? Even rich people can establish ranches. It's not only government. You know that this cattle thing is a lucrative business. People can invest in it. It can be for 10, 15 years. It will yield. Because they can go into milk production. They can go into beef production. They can go into leather production. These are byproducts of cattle. So big businessmen can. I was thinking that Dangote, after if he can come out from this refinery Wahal, Dangote should be given another assignment to look at cattle. The man can modernize it. It's not only him. I'm just mentioning him. It's not that he's the only person who can do it. Other people can do it. Go into massive cattle production and take away these headers of the. If somebody is not coming to attack a community, he wouldn't come hiding as if he's a header. You get the point I'm making? I do. Yeah? So that is the way I look at it.
Ugochukwu Sunday says, happy weekend, Doc. Thanks for coming. You have said it all. Please, sir, you said that we can do 3 times farming in a portion of land in a year, but that has killed lands. Okay, he said that is capable of killing lands. He's watching from railway crossing on Mobile Nisha Langwa South. He's lampooning your suggestion about certain techniques of seedlings where you can use, subsidence and farm 3 times a year. He feels it will jeopardize the quality of
well, that is if you don't have the inputs and fertilizers to back it up. I know what he's talking about. He's talking about this crop rotation and the way it may not be the same land you plant. You can rotate the crops because some of the crops may also benefit from the byproduct of a particular crop that has been there. That was what the people were saying about cattle. And when they pass your land, the droppings and so on form fertilizer. But that being the case, they will destroy their existing crops. So I keep emphasizing, these people should stop moving about with the cattle. There are places where they can keep these cattle. They should stop moving from state to state, from Yobe to Rivers State, crossing about 10-15 states, thereby causing all sorts of havoc. And criminals join them in that movement and also cause more havoc than even the headers. Because if you see a true header, the true header is not the criminal. What is most important to the header is that cattle.
True.
He's not after any other thing, because that was what his mind has been configured, either through culture or brainwashing or whatever, to concentrate on the cattle. Unless if you are coming to steal the cattle or you are coming to kill them. Therefore, if we can get these headers somewhere in a ranch, they know the techniques, they can take care of the cattle. It's a large space, and the grasses are planted. There are types of grasses that these cattle take. And within those confines of the ranch, you deliberately plant those grasses. As you move the cattle around, the grasses will grow back and you sell them off to where they are needed.
Okechi Goswin Wogo says, I'm yet to understand the benefits of removing fuel subsidy by this administration. At this point that hunger wants to finish everyone, one should hold the government account for what the money that is meant for fuel subsidies channeled into. Okechi is writing from Ohoro, Eastern Mary. He's just expressing concern.
Yes, about the subsidy. I think we have been on the subsidy. Even I was told yesterday that there's still subsidy on fuel. And that was why NSA agreed on the 70,000. That President Tinubu told them, if we want 250,000, we'll remove subsidy completely, and fuel may be 1,800 naira per litre or something like that. So we still have subsidy in a way, but the thing is biting us. It's a question of economic mismanagement all over the years.
Yeah.
So the type of subsidy we are doing, we are buying fuel at 85, 89 naira or so on, helped to destroy the economy. We should have raised the cost of fuel, since we're importing it, to something that will make it subsidy to be less than what it's like now. That the value of the naira, you keep selling fuel at 150 or 180. The subsidy will be so huge that the economy may bleed to death.
Oh, wow. It's complicated.
It's not so much complicated if we take the measures. Now, food importation, that's something I forgot. Government gave a 150 days something waiver.
Yes.
To bring in food.
Product, yeah.
That is a step in the right direction. It's an emergency situation because the thing is getting us to the neck. So I believe strongly that people can bring in food. I don't know where they will get the foreign exchange to do that, but wherever they get it, they can bring in food. People are saying open the borders. Yes, you open the borders, but you need to have an eye too.
True.
On what is coming in, because you can open the borders for food and people bring. The other day in your news, I heard people are bringing bulletproof jackets in large numbers. People are bringing in guns. So if you say throw the border open, that's not helpful for any country. There must be some regulation. There must be those who can say this is what we are bringing in. It is food and nothing but food. There should be proper check to see that this thing coming in now will be food. So if there is this window to bring in food, I support it.
Chubwezobu is asking a question which a lot of people have also asked. Cattle ranching, is it a private business or government business? Because if it is private business, why is it choking us? And it appears like government has owned it. So maybe you should answer Chubweze.
It's both. It's both a government and a private business. Why? You need land for the cattle. So government will also be there to approve you to use.
That is for ranching.
No, that's for
but
ranching.
The ones that are moving around is strictly private.
It's private, and those ones are the ones I'm against.
Yes.
I'm against them because there are some certain rich people in this country, like Atiku Abubakar. He admitted openly that he has thousands of heads of cattle.
Yes.
And that he had told them not to move away from Adamawa State. I should think so. So there are very rich people who own this cattle. So in that sense, it's a private business. So we're not saying that you must give your land to them. Our government is not saying that. The problem with the business is that these animals are moving around. Nothing more. There's nothing about. After all, we have a type of local chicken that the one they call a kukibo that moves. It's a nuisance to the neighborhood too, because this thing can come in, fly into a pot of soup.
But it does not constitute threat to life.
Do you know? It constitutes even the called bird flu is spread by that one. So understand. That is why poultry is a type of ranch for you to do well in this poultry thing. You must have big poultry. Mbakwe tried it with our modern poultry. It was very successful. Brought the Israelis here, they helped him establish a flourishing poultry business. And I said, we have one at Ogwe. Why don't we revive it? Those ones will not be moving around.
Okay, Paul Chinedu says, and I'm at Opi Weka, Onisha, and I know how much it has cost me in transportation fare just to attend my late senior friend's burial. It's not easy at all. Maybe it's time for everybody to start talking like Senator Alin Dume.
I think I mentioned the man.
Yes.
The man has a message.
I know.
They should leave the Dume
messenger.
They should leave the messenger and focus on the message.
On Facebook, Ubuaku Emmanuel Simba says, here in the southeast, we are so blessed. We have everything at our disposal. We don't know how to utilize it. Our lands are very much fertile and rich that we can plant anything we want and it will grow very healthy. Take a visit to Zoakol in Bende and see the wonders of agriculture. Hyacinth Obodna, the food insecurity will definitely not cease unless government curb attacks on farms and farmers by herdsmen. Everybody will not surely become a farmer. Palliative for food is a distraction. So, Doc, let's give us your way forward. How do we come out of this stomach infrastructure quagmire?
For example, I feel government should come in fully in providing the necessary assistance, in providing land to people, not on permanent basis. Not that this land has been given to them, those farmers permanently. They can provide land for 2 years, for 3 years, go and do farming, go and do this type, potatoes for example. Go and do these potatoes. We want you to bring for us so tons of cassava. So government can do that. Then in terms of loans too, government can also provide farmers with loans. I have stressed that there are some people who should be classified as farmers. It should not be everybody's business. You cannot be a doctor and be a successful farmer unless if you are just doing one little thing at your backyard. And that does not impact on the nation as we are looking at it in the large scale. So people should go into commercial farming, even if it is crop, even if it's animals. I've also talked of ranching, and the ranching I said it should not be in all the states in Nigeria. There are states that have the land, and those states should have comparative advantage. I've also said that we should also look at the crops. I mentioned palm oil in particular. It's one we can do effectively. People can establish palm oil mills for processing, easy processing. I've also said we should provide functional education, both for the students, the younger ones, and enlightenment for the older generation. Say this is the way these things are, the way we are getting higher yield now. Bring people who can teach these things. They are available. Enlighten the people. The media has a role to play. Enlighten the people on modern ways of doing particular type of crops, animals, and so on. Then we have to improve our water management. We need to conserve water when it is available. You see, all the water that is flowing River Niger and River Benue into the Atlantic Ocean, if government had been wise all these years, we could take large quantities of water off that river, secure them in a dam, and from there you can do agriculture in the dry season. So we can talk of lowering putting subsidy in fertilizers, improve seedlings. We can clear some forests solely for agriculture. Just clear the area, some hectares of land, and say go and find. We can also invite our rich people who are doing other things to establish large farms, which will help in food production. So if we are doing these things, I think we can. The problem is not insurmountable. It's something that we can confront, declare an emergency. And I was thinking that the Ministry of Livestock is part of that emergency. We can also replicate that in states, even in local governments. We can have functional departments of livestock. If it is poultry, you go into it. If it is piggery, you go into it. If it is rabbit production, you go into it.
Wow. 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 It can get better, but we need the right approach, the political will, involvement by all, knowledge on technology, improved seedlings. We just need to bring down the cost of food items. This is the consensus amongst Nigerians as we speak, and we're hoping that in the coming days government will give us the enabling environment, the push, handle the headers farmers clash, and let's see how tomorrow will be in Nigeria. I want to say thank you so much to all of you who sent in messages on our live feed. Thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing your time with us. Next Saturday we'll do this again. Another topic, of course, will come your way, where we'll also look at all sides and of course get you involved through your input. My guest is Dr. Wonha Eugene. He's a public affairs analyst and he's been with us in the last 48 minutes talking food security in Nigeria. Thank you so much, Doc, for coming.
Thank you, Anas, for having me.
My name is Anastasia Odochuchin. I wish you a lovely weekend. Stay out of trouble. Bye-bye.
ABA City and its environs. This is Magic 102.9 FM. Feel the magic.
Oh boy, Bajaj Boxer get better wolf this July, yo.
Not good to
you fit get her for only 940,000 naira.
Hey, this one a better.
Yes, so sharply visit the dealer when near you pass to enjoy them. Offer they available while stock last.
John, wetin dey happen now? How the road be?
Paddy, wahala dey everywhere tight. For 4 days now, I still dey hold up for Benin bypass. The worst part be say my motor don dey do overheat.
But wait which oil you dey use for your engine? You never hear of Auto Check engine oil?
Did you say Auto Check oil?
Yes, Auto Check heavy duty engine oil. Na the better ogbonge oil for transporters. They call it Auto Check HD50. It dey last well for engine. It saves your engine protection from wear and tear. They manage diesel consumption. No friction at all though. The treatment and viscosity of the oil is top notch. AutoCheck HD50 is a reliable quality oil for all road users like MAN Diesel, DAF, Mercedes trucks,
all kinds of heavy duty diesel engines and luxurious buses.
It is served well for industrial listers like Meccano, FG Wilson, Perkins. It's available in 4 liters, 25 liters, and drum oil.
For more information about all AutoCheck oil, call 081-625-98519.
My people, when quality matters, choose AutoCheck oil.
One day, how far? Odogu. Hey, cost of living want to kill the living, oh. Ah, my brother, come closer, make I give you correct update. Do you know, till thy kingdom come, people and goods will continue to move from one point to another. As I dey talk to you now, experts don dey produce correct transport system wey no fit get accident, traffic and pollution. But the koko be say, if you don't partner with them now, you will only be their passenger. One day, this is your opportunity to become Odogo. But where do I start? Attend Skyway Transport Business Conference live in Aba on Sunday 21st July by 2 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. and on Monday 22nd July by 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at Root and Cafe by Crunches, Bata Junction, Aba. For seat reservation, call these numbers 0803-665-3824, 0803-665-3824 or 0803-791-9730, 0803-791-9730. Now generational wealth and asset matter be this whole.
Wherever you are, whatever you do, let MagicFM 102.9 Aba Abia State connect you. We are Magic, the best radio station in MagicFM. We bring and keep you up to date. MagicFM, Magic 102.9 Aba. The best we don't spread. Magic, magic, magic.
In the 21st century, a station was born in God's own state. It captured the heart of man, cause it was loved by all. And that station is no other than Magic, Magic.
This is Magic
102.9.